Good Sunday morning, everyone. Today on Perspectives, a few months ago, a doctor friend shared with me that a product developer out west was putting CBD oil in water, creating what he considered a beneficial health product. Now, fast forward a few months, it's now 2019, and CBD oil has become the hot topic, with many people touting its health benefits. The oil itself is extracted from hemp, which is in the same family as marijuana. But according to CBD manufacturers, it does not have that illegal compound called THC, which gets you high. Now, people who use the product say that it helps with chronic pain, anxiety disorders, and insomnia. The Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, however, cautions consumers right now because so many of these products are not government regulated. Now, another aspect of the growing popularity of CBD oil is what you're seeing right now, hemp farming. The passage of the 2018 Farm Bill allows American farmers to grow this cash crop, and Alabama is no exception. Hemp has a variety of uses, from industrial and medical to textiles, even food, in fact. Now, hemp is considered to be a hardy, easily grown plant, and some farmers say that they just need to find out what varieties of hemp are better suited to their climate and soil. And that's why farmers here on the Gulf Coast are now learning about the plant. Last month, about 40 farmers attended a meeting in Spanish Fort to learn more about hemp farming. Fox 10 News reporter Michael Warwick talked to a crop consultant about the growing industry.
We've never seen anything like this. This is a revolution in farming.
In demand around the country, Baldwin farmers trying to decide for themselves which way to go on growing hemp.
It's a new commodity for our farmers here. Everybody's really excited to have something new to try.
Crop consultants like Chip Bryers, who farms himself in Daphne, see hemp as a major cash crop, something many Baldwin farmers haven't had recently.
We see hemp as a potential new revenue stream for our farmers, that it's potentially well above anything that they've been growing.
But with its demand comes wrestling with public opinion. Hemp is a relative of marijuana. It looks like it, and it can smell like it.
It's been a crop for hundreds, thousands of years. It's one of the oldest cultivated crops. We just need to educate everyone here to know the difference between marijuana and industrial hemp, which has no psychoactive effects.
And again, that was Fox News reporter Michael Warwick. Now, that meeting took place in Baldwin County back in March. This morning, joining us for a discussion on CBD oil and hemp this morning are Betty Lou Pierce from Virginia's Health Foods in Mobile and Jeff Sheldon from the Health Hut located in Mobile and Daphne. And today we'll also be talking about hemp farming. You'll hear from James Miles from the Alabama Cooperative Extension Service and future hemp farmer and product manufacturer Christian Butts from Alberta. Hemp and CBD oil this morning when Perspectives continues. And thank you for joining us this morning on Perspectives. Area farmers are learning more about hemp farming by attending meetings that we showed you a bit earlier this morning. Now, talk to Christian Butts, a farmer in Alberta, about his interest in hemp farming and why it's taken so long to get where we are now in 2019.
I believe a control of an industry. There's so many books that's been written about it at this point in time. The fight between the paper companies and where they were going to be sourcing their materials, oil, even wood at this point, because we know how to put it back together and create plank board out of it, and many things can be made out of this product in a more superior way. It is the strongest fiber that we know naturally made on earth, the plant kingdom, cleanest burning fuel. It's a very good plant. This first year in Alabama, it's going to be focusing on the strains to use, and then for me, I'm taking it slow. I kind of have been afforded to not have to rush into it so fast as far as on the farming side. I will farm. We're going to have to wait for the industry to build as well. As far as on the textile, I believe that this area will be a large textile producer. The factories are not in place. It's going to take some time for those factories to build themselves and for it to become a viable market for the products made from that. shaping up for next year, it's to assist the next wave of new farmers coming in. So this is more of a trial and error year for me. And it's worked out very well as to now that has gotten me in contact with a good coalition of, like say, I focused in Tennessee, and so now we have a good coalition of farmers and processors in Tennessee to consult me and hopefully other farmers in the Alabama area.
And that's Christian Butts, a farmer as well as a product developer in Alberta. Now joining us for discussion on hemp and CBD oil this morning, again, Betty Lou Pierce from Virginia's Health Foods in Mobile, and Jeff Sheldon from the Health Hut located in Mobile and Daphne. And hemp is now deemed a agricultural commodity and no longer a controlled substance classified in that character. What took so long for it to get here?
I think it happened with the pass of the farmers bill of 2018, and at that point hemp was classified as not being a drug, and so that's the difference in it, because in hemp I think there's like 0.3% of THC in there, just a very small amount, and about 20% of the part that's going to help us to be healthy, of the CBD.
Now hemp has a history in this nation. I mean, it goes way back to the 1700s. It was a major crop before cotton became king, especially in the South. What took so long for us to get back to this point now? Here it is, 2018, the Farm Bill, and now 2019, and we talk about the incredible results that were seen and known back in the 1800s. What took so long to get back to this point in the year 2019?
Well, prior to last year, cannabis was one plant in everybody's mind. So we've got THC, we've got CBD. The CBD that we sell in the state of Alabama comes from industrial hemp, not the other plant. We are still kind of even fighting the idea that it's the same thing. We have customers coming in and say, hey, are you guys selling marijuana? Absolutely not. Right. That's illegal. But literally after the 2018 Farm Bill passed, the next day the State Attorney General of Alabama came out and said, as long as it is from industrial hemp, 0.3% THC or less is deemed legal in Alabama. So now we are able to sell CBD as long as it's from the industrial or agricultural hemp.
So the plant, same family, but different genetics in the plant? How is it different?
Subspecies is what they would call it.
Yes. There are people who do come in the store and they say, well, I'm afraid to do this because if I have to take a drug test. So, you know, we do explain to them that to talk to their manager about it if they're going to take it, because it is such a very small amount. It should not show up. You know, I mean, they would have to take such huge amounts of it for, you know, it to be, since it's so low. So they haven't really understood yet that, you know, it does not have the part in there that would make
the THC that we hear about being the psychoactive part of marijuana. Now, is there a concern about if you're using maybe an extract versus a gel capsule that you could have a higher reading? Is that a concern?
It should not be. If it's coming from industrial hemp and is below 0.3%, there is literally no psychoactive property that you can feel. And you could take copious amounts and still never feel it.
Yeah.
That's good for people, especially those who are in types of jobs where they're tested on a regular basis.
Correct. And we have plenty of customers that come in and for whatever vocation, they get random drug testing, or if there's an accident at work, that's the first thing they're going to do is drug test. And from brand to brand, even below that 0.3%, there's many different levels at that. I mean, there are some out there that are below 0.02% that you can run the lab test. Actually, most of the brands we sell are going to be all third-party tested. You can pull the lab report yourself if you wanted to see that lab assay, and it'll show ND, not detected, when you're looking at the THC.
Have you all been surprised with how quickly this thing has taken off? Because we're seeing the Farm Bill in December, and now this is April of 2019, and already, from what I'm hearing, it's going off the shelves very quickly.
Yes, it's like overnight, boom, you know, this happened. And so, you know, but people, I mean, they'll tell me, people with arthritis, they said that as they're putting the balm on the area, they can feel the pain going away as they're rubbing the balm on there. So I have to tell them that, you know, it will last for a couple of hours, but then they'll have to reapply it again. It's not like you use it one time and then, you know, that's it. So as they feel the pain's coming back again, then to reapply it again. They do it at night before they go to bed. They'll sleep all night long without waking up, you know, with that.
So was there a ready market waiting for the product to hit, or people found out about it quickly? How did it happen to where the this
It was
quick
building
results
because it was being sold in other states. So we had customers asking, shoot, for 2 years, do you have CBD, do you have CBD, do you have CBD? And we were one of the states that could not sell it. We started actually selling it prior to the Farm Bill, unknowing, because the state and the local authorities and the feds, nobody agreed. Right. So we were selling it without knowing, and then when we found out and we looked at the state statutes, we're like, uh-oh. And we were literally, the second week of December, I was writing an email to all of our customers saying, hey, we're no longer going to carry this. And that Thursday, State Attorney General comes out and says, hey, by the way, we're good to go here as long as it's from industrial hemp and not the other plant. And that was a big load off our shoulders because I thought we were selling it illegally, which I guess we, depending on who you ask, because right. we spoke with the State Attorney General's office. My wife called the Sheriff's Office, Mobile Police Department, and the DEA. And the DEA, he said, listen, we don't care. I shouldn't say that on TV.
Right. But that was where things were, and the momentum was building towards what was happening with the Farm Bill.
And so marketing of it, it was kind of already built there. We didn't have to go out and just say, hey, everybody, this is...
All right. Well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk more about what's happening with the CBD oil and, of course, some of the history about the hemp plant itself. Very fascinating and interesting. Alabama's regional extension agents will be helping the state's farmers work through this learning curve to make hemp farming profitable. We'll find out how after the break. And welcome back to Perspectives on this Sunday morning. And we're talking with Betty Lou Pierce, who's from Virginia's Health Foods in Mobile, along with Jeff Sheldon, who's with the Health Hut located in Mobile and Daphne. We're talking this morning about hemp and CBD oil and what has happened in just a short period of time here with Alabama. And Jeff, you were sharing that other states, so in Kentucky, one in particular, and I guess Washington State were two that had already ushered this into the marketplace.
California, Las Vegas, and so the news was out there and the buzz was out there. We just weren't able to sell in the state of Alabama yet until December of 18.
Were you surprised at all that Alabama finally got on board? Were you thinking it was going to take longer? What was?
I wasn't surprised that it happened. I was surprised it happened literally the next day. I mean, that was mind-blowing to me and very appreciative, because what we do know about CBD, there's so much science out there, and we were talking off the air about how some of the science out there is on the CBD that contains THC from the other plant. And there's great science out there. And then we've got some science with CBD. But we don't have enough science yet to be able to claim beyond a shadow of a doubt that it does this and this and this and this. So now what that really does is it opens up a lot of science is happening. There's studies going on right now as we speak and all kinds of stuff. It's just going to be many months before we get those peer-reviewed results that we can actually share.
And make certain statements. That's always dealing with the FDA. You have to be so careful about what you say and claims you make. What are people saying, though? That's what you can always share stories. What are they saying they're seeing with this?
Sure. So.
Yeah, well,
go ahead,
with our customers, they're all coming back. You know, and of course, other people are coming in because they're telling other people about how it works with them. And with the studies that I have done, they have found out that with the CBD, it works with the system of the body that basically is working to keep our system strong, like keeping your immune system strong. So this is basically how it is affecting us. So this is why people will have, you know, whatever their problem is, it's like they're getting some results, good results from it by taking it on a regular basis.
One of the systems of the body is called the endocannabinoid system, endo being made in the body. So when we take from hemp a phytocannabinoid, molecularly they are identical. So basically we're feeding the receptors in those cells and it's doing our body good. It's like taking fish oil, the omega-3s that we need that we can't manufacture inside of our body, so we have to get them through food. So hemp, and there are other foods that have CBD in them, they're just such low amounts, we don't typically get therapeutic effects from them. Hemp is just the highest source of CBD that we know.
So is this sort of one of those, we hear every now and then about a miracle type of product that's making a difference in areas that people have been aware of it for a while, but finally in the marketplace?
Hate to use the word miracle.
Right.
There are so many people that have come in and given us this anecdotal evidence on all the things that it helps with. And we do get the people that say, you know what, I tried that for a few days, it didn't really help. And we'll say, you know what, try it a little bit longer. If it doesn't help, that's okay too. One of my very best friends suffers from PTSD. He was in the Marine Corps 23 years. And he bought it for sleep. And he texted me the next morning at 5:51, and my wife's going, who was texting you this early in the morning? And he's screaming at me through the phone on a text, telling me, wow, I got 7.5 hours of sleep last night for the first time in recent history. And he's over the moon. He texted me a month later, And I call him back, and he says, hey, does this affect your blood sugar? And I said, why, what happened? He said, nothing happened. He said, I went to the doctor. I did not know he was type 2 diabetic. He says, my A1C came down. And I said, well, yeah, I can do that. I just didn't know that that was something we needed to talk about because you didn't mention that. So anecdotally, we're getting all these great stories from people. But I'm a science kind of guy, so I'm waiting for a lot of these clinical studies that we can say, hey, look at this and look at this. And I'm very excited because we've got, loved ones that suffer from things that we really want to help, that I'd love to be able to show them some science.
I've got a dear coworker who needs better sleep at night. I asked her, have you tried this yet? And she said, I've been thinking about it, but no try yet. So hopefully with the program today, they'll be more inclined to do so. We're going to take another break. And as we showed you earlier in the program, farmers in South Alabama are interested in the business of hemp farming. Now, we talked with James Miles, a regional extension agent with the Alabama Cooperative Extension Service, about the benefits of hemp farming here on the Gulf Coast. And of course, there's more than a couple. The main one is profit per acre.
One of the driving forces behind any of these things, is how you're going to make money, so the marketing aspect. So growers, traditional growers, they're looking for new avenues to make money. You can make money with the traditional crops, but when you can get on the cutting edge, some of the newer stuff, that's where you can make some money. So that's one of the things they're looking at, is another avenue, to diversify, make some money in some other things. And as we know, we're starting to see all these products with the CBD, oils, showing up on the market. So it's a growing, industry. So, if you have the land and you have some growing experience, it's definitely an opportunity there. You try to think in terms of how many dollars per acre that you can, profit. So, if you're looking at 1,000 acre, it would be on a very low scale, but if you're really looking, you're looking at, a few $1,000s per acre on the production side of things. But then you've got a lot of costs in that. You've got production costs, seed costs, fertilizer costs, pest control costs, you have transportation costs, because right now, no one in Alabama is processing it. So now you've got to get this product to a processor. So all that takes place. So then your profit margin, at each time you add a step, your profit margin kind of goes down a little bit. So there's a lot of steps to this thing. There's a lot of risk right now. The first time around, there's not any pesticides or insecticides or anything labeled for this crop. So how are you going to manage these insects and diseases that we're plagued with, and even some of the weed control? So those are some of the things that we're really interested in, is how are we going to manage the weeds, the insects, the diseases that attack this plant? And we don't even know which insects or diseases are going to get on this plant. We have an idea because of some other states who've been doing it for a little bit, so we'll use some of their models, but we have to also keep our eyes open and work with some of these growers to do a little monitoring and watch.
As mentioned, hundreds of Alabama farmers applied for the roughly 180-some permits granted for the first growing cycle in 2019. We'll talk more about hemp and CBD oil when Perspectives continues. And welcome back to Perspectives on our Sunday morning. We're discussing hemp and CBD oil this morning. Betty Lou Pierce from Virginia's Health Foods in Mobile and Jeff Sheldon from the Health Hut in Mobile and Daphne. And we were talking about the aspect of the farming there. They're having to have the permits issued. You just can't go and buy some plants or seeds and grow it yourself. There is a process in the state of Alabama. We're also talking about the amount of products available. What seems to be the major product on the market right now? Is it just CBD oil, or are there some other derivatives from it as well?
There's topical balms, there's beauty products, lotions, soaps, shampoos, but the main things that we sell are going to be the internal, the systemic use products, which are your oils, soft gels, capsules.
And we were talking about the effects of the immune system benefiting from this, and I know a lot of people, me in particular, are always looking for ways to boost that immune system to deal with things that we're coming across here in everyday life.
Yes. And so this is what it will do. It works with the immune system. So as our bodies are adjusting, moving around, and a lot of things are going on. So that when taking the CBD, that's helping to build that immune system so that it will work with your system to get that balance that's there. So it doesn't mean that you'll never get sick. It means that if you do get sick, how long is it going to take for you to recover? So the faster that you recover from something, the stronger your immune system is working for you. And so these are the things that the CBD is helping to do. Besides, diet, exercise, everything, it all comes into play. It can't be just take the oil
magic
and
bullet.
It helps your body work more efficiently, your immune system.
Right.
But there's so many different properties in, I say CBD, but just in hemp in general. I mean, it's anti-inflammatory properties. It's very high in antioxidants. There are nutrients in there that are fancy words, terpenes, which is what gives our spices their smell and odor that have therapeutic benefits to the body. A lot of people are taking it for those anti-inflammatory effects, but there's anti-convulsive, it's antipsychotic. There's all these proven benefits. Too many to name on
As the system is healing and balancing. So this is basically what it's doing. It's creating the balance that we need.
Well, I love you mentioned the PTSD factor, because we have a lot of veterans that are dealing with that. In fact, I was just talking to someone a couple of days ago who that's one of the areas that he's working in, because suffers from it himself, but wants to help other veterans who are dealing with it as well. So how does that address that issue?
So there's a couple actual studies you can find. You can go Google it. There are studies on anxiety and depression. Now, like I mentioned earlier, some of these studies are with the cannabis base that has a minor amount of THC, and then there are some with CBD without the THC. So you have to do some homework on your own for that. But it's proven to be very good with anxiety and depression. But also when people sleep better, their body heals better in their sleep. So over time, the body starts to work on things on its own if we can put the environment correct for it to do that.
So how do you feel now that with the Farm Bill passing, this product is now available for people and it's got a potential to make a difference in the daily lives of folk?
It's great because it does so many different things. And there are things, I take it for arthritis, but I know behind the scenes it's doing so many other beneficial things just for, the top 100 diseases we die of in Western civilization, the one thing they have in common is inflammation. Anything that I can put into my body that brings inflammation down will be beneficial to me. Whether I can feel that or not on a daily basis is different than, well, in the back of my head, I know that it's doing me some good. We take omega-3s from fish oil for many different things. I just know it's good for me, and I can off the air give you lots of things it's good for.
Right.
But again, behind the scenes, it's like eating more fruits and vegetables and eating less sugars and meats. We know that's good for us, but you can't always quantify that on a daily routine.
Basis. Yeah. Well, I thank you both so much for joining us this morning and sharing the information. And of course, we encourage people to do their homework and find out more about the possible benefits for them. In the meantime, they can check you all out at Virginia Health Food or the Health Hut. And again, thanks for joining us here on Perspectives on this Sunday morning. For more information on the uses of CBD oil, Betty Lou and Jeff, of course, say feel free to call them at the numbers you see there on the screen for the two stores. Also interested in hemp farming, we'll also give you James Miles at the Alabama Cooperative Extension System office, and this is his phone number as well. For more information, there's another cycle happening in October of this year where more farmers will have that opportunity. And join us here next Sunday morning at 7:30 for Perspectives as we discuss important issues as well as seeking solutions. If you have any ideas of topics you'd like for us to address, drop it to us at perspectives@fox10tv.com. I'm Eric Reynolds. Have a great week.